We're focusing on a topic your phlebotomy exam loves to test: the critical differences between working in a hospital, an outpatient clinic, and as a mobile phlebotomist. The exam won't just ask you to define these settings, it will test your application of safety, patient identification, and specimen transport protocols unique to each one. Let's start with the hospital. This is a high-acuity, 24/7 environment. You'll encounter everything from ICU patients to strict isolation cases. An exam question might describe a patient in contact isolation and ask for the proper PPE sequence. Another classic trap involves patient identification. Imagine a semi-conscious patient in the ER. The exam will test your adherence to the two-identifier rule. You must use the patient's wristband and have them state their name and date of birth if possible. Relying on a room number or a name on a chart in the room is an automatic failure point. Specimen transport in a large hospital also presents challenges, such as using pneumatic tube systems, which can increase the risk of hemolysis if not handled correctly. Now, let's contrast this with an outpatient clinic. Here, the pace is often fast, with a high volume of scheduled and walk-in patients who are generally ambulatory. Patient identification is typically more straightforward, often involving a photo ID and verbal confirmation of name and date of birth. However, the exam might trap you with a question about pre-analytical errors. For example, a scenario might describe a patient arriving for a fasting glucose test while drinking a sugary coffee. Your responsibility is to verify fasting status before the draw, and if the patient is not compliant, you must follow your facility's protocol, which usually involves rescheduling the test. Finally, we have mobile phlebotomy, which requires the highest level of independence and strict protocol adherence. You could be in a patient's home, a nursing facility, or at a corporate health screening. Safety and sample integrity are paramount. Exam questions will focus heavily on transport. You must know the correct temperature and storage requirements for various tests because you are responsible for maintaining them in your vehicle. A common question might involve a sample that needs to be refrigerated and transported to the lab within 1 hour. You'll also be tested on state-specific laws and regulations governing mobile phlebotomy, including licensing and quality control procedures. For patient ID in a home setting without a wristband, you may need to use a photo ID or have a relative or caregiver verify the patient's identity. To keep these settings straight for your exam, remember this phrase: hospital ID is critical, clinic flow is swift, mobile transport is key. This highlights the primary challenge in each setting: rigorous ID in the hospital, managing patient flow in the clinic, and ensuring specimen integrity during transport in mobile phlebotomy. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.